Jindu mi kembubai drogu namanda jinda shumba Kinzin Junzin Chidar Zambe Dujen Zimala Samgen Chungin Chaba Amdu Idam Guru Rana Mandala Ganya Dayami Sangye Chedam Zogi Jonamla Jangju Pardo Dami Gyabzu Je Dagi Jinzu Gibe Sonam Drola Benje Sangye Ndrumpar Sho Sangye Chedam Zogi Jonamla Jangju Pardo Dami Gyabzu Dagi Jinzu Gibe Sonam Ge Drola Benje Sangye Ndrumpar Sho Sangye Chedam Zogi Jonamla Jangju Pardo Dami Gyabzu Je Dagi Jinzu Gibe Sonam Drola Benje Sangye Ndrumpar Sho. Okay.
I'm going to activate interpretation.
We'll be ready in just 1 second, Rinpoche.
It's already, Alberto. Para los que quieran escuchar a Alberto en español, tienen que ir al canal de interpretación, por favor. I think we're ready, Rinpoche.
Okay, good. So once again, very nice to meet all of you. And today is the second session for the Lamrim meditation. And I think, you know, meditation is very, very, very popular. And there's so many people coming up with the different methods of meditation. But the Lamrim meditation, it have a structure, it have a, you know, format and traditional format. So I think to understand this format a little bit better, you need to a little bit, you know, this kind of like a six preparatory practice. There's many different Jorchu Lama Chöpa and Jorchu its own self. So you can, you know, go through these structures. What are the first, second, and thirds? The six preparatory practice. These are the one of the format how to do, you know, building the structuring the foundation to doing our Lamrim meditation. And why it does in based on this kind of and the Lamrim meditation is not shamatha meditation. It is a little bit more kind of analytical meditation. Meditation that is not necessarily seeking the answer, but I mean, like, it's not checking, and maybe the seeking, maybe seeking for answer, maybe it's the right, but not really chasing. Usually analytical meditation seems like you're thinking and figuring out and trying to find the answer. And in a Lamrim meditation, you kind of scan the question that arises based on a karmic experience, whatever karma we're going through. It is the question is not so much about the intellect. It's a question that comes through the truth of the suffering. And based on that, now in a Lamrim meditation, you're not trying to fix the karma. You are acknowledging the karma. And basically, Jorchu kind of container really karma to work with a karmic question rather than our intellect. But our intellect, the analytical, is just kind of like the vehicle to express our karmic challenge and karmic question. And in a Lamrim meditation, basically, it have a wisdom element and it have a method element. And the wisdom element is analytical, reviewing whatever the karmic questions are. And the method element is, I will say, it's like almost like a kind of like a faith into the enlightenment, faith into the merit field, faith into the refuge field. So basically, kind of preliminary practice, you create this kind of strong connection with the merit field or the refuge field, and you create that faith and that connection. Based on that connection, then basically you go through the wisdom, the analytical, that is like the vehicle, and what you're carrying on is the karmic question. It's not intellectual question, the karmic question, but then answer, so-called answer, that need to be kind of in the meditation, you kind of come back into the kind of a surrendering that question. Surrendering that question. When I'm in that surrendering question means like, is this a still you are seeking, but you are not chasing and trying to fix that question. So coming back to the faith, that's so this is kind of like an exercise you arise your Lamrim meditation through the merit field and the refuge field. You explore your karmic question through analytical meditation. It's almost like a review. You're reviewing your life. You're reviewing your truth of suffering. You're reviewing your truth of course. First noble truth and second noble truth. And then you're coming back into the, again, back to the merit field, the faith, that basically this is something fundamentally you are not controlling the answer, but you are not let going so you are not kind of ignoring the answer. You are open for that. So it is a kind of not how we usually in common world, how we, when we have a question, then we think, we seek, we analyze, and we even comes to theory and some level of a, hypothetical or theoretical. But in a Lamrim meditation, when you review your own karma through analytical process, and at the end, even not really concluding the answer for that, even a theoretical level, basically you have a kind of like a surrender, and may I be blessed to able to purify the whatever obstacle to seeing what I'm not, whatever I'm supposed to, whatever obstacle to remove, that I can see the true nature of myself. So there is a lot of these kind of like a non-aggressive way, and that there's a gentleness and there's a lots of heart and the patience and openness. And this kind of really, this kind of meditation is really can expand our spiritual experience, kind of whatever. So that's kind of like the key thing. Okay, so basically when you're doing this meditation, the first part is settling our mind. It's very, very important. Okay, so that would be one section, and the second session will be creating the merit field. Okay, that kind of like the journey is not by lonely journey is together by the help and the blessings of the merit field. So you have to have that feeling need to be generated. And then third step will be the kind of like a reviewing the karmic question, that expression, and then again coming back to that kind of like seeking for blessings, to removing obstacles and strengthening whatever quality. So basically, I would say three things: settling our mind, creating the merit field, and third is the analytical process, the reviewing the karmic question. Okay, so that's kind of like a three things. So usually for our ego, this is very difficult. This kind of meditation is very difficult for our ego, because our ego wants to have the answer and have now. The ego is very demanding. So this kind of meditation, when we're doing without demand, but it will be beautiful demand. It will be so that's kind of like the key thing. Okay, and now calming the mind is basically some kind of like a stillness of your environment, particularly stillness or silent or stillness of your meditation posture. So this is kind of how we start: stillness of our physical energy, and then through that we can create some level of a stillness. So basically, sometimes I use the word synchronization of a mind and body, and sometimes I use the word synchronization of a sense and mind, mental. Usually sense leads the mind leads the sense. They're all kind of like so here they're coming into the there's neither push and pull between these things. Your sense and your mental kind of synchronization is a kind of equanimity. So that's like the first, you have the meditation posture, and through the meditation posture stillness we can do it. But how we keep our mind stillness, then through the stillness of our body we're trying to keep some level of stillness of our sense, and that's also kind of giving stillness, slowly moving into the stillness of our mind. So our physical stillness, our sense stillness, and our mental stillness. So silence of your body, silence of your sense, and silence of your thoughts. So what that really means is basically these three things are not stopping, minimizing their chat. the sense not bringing chat to the thoughts, the thought not bringing any kind of chat to the sense, and the sense not bringing sensor's consciousness, sense awareness, not bringing any chat to our physical. So they're kind of like a silent retreat. Three of them once become, then that's the fundamental how you, key thing is our sense and our mental to bringing some kind of equanimity. They are in the same platform. Once you bring that, then I think the inner silent. Of course, there is a time to time you may mind get to something, then you're able to bring back and creating that stillness. So that will be like a first part of the meditation, okay? Okay. So I will encourage just a meditation posture, whatever you can do. And then just kind of bringing your thoughts and awareness to from lower part of your body, just kind of a scanning. If you're cross leg, then you just kind of bring your attention to your cross leg. If you're kind of like on the chair, and then there is any tension you notice and release, and keep into kind of like a release and ease, and then same time bringing your attention into that sensation of easiness of your lower part of your body posture. And also take your time. As much possible to remain your awareness into that. And then naturally and gradually just bring back to your spine, and first feel the balance, and then bring your attention to that sensation of your balance. And bringing your attention towards that. Then gradually balance your shoulder, feel that kind of ease. If you notice any attention, just trying to feel that relax. And feel the sensation of that posture. And bring your attention to that sensation. Not necessary to scan, but just mind to rest. Be aware of that sensation. Then you feel your face and your jaw, and this, if you feel around your head any tension, you're trying to just kind of ease, and then feel that balance and that sensation, and then gradually bringing your attention and mind, not to rush for next one, as much possible to abide into that awareness. Then gradually let go that specific attention and just trying to abide into the awareness. Basically, your awareness is kind of widening, is not specific object. At the same time, trying to feel that your sensors awareness, but it is not focusing into the one specific sensors, sense consciousness, not focusing, not investing, but all the five sensor consciousness are fully alert. At the same time, the mental consciousness is fully alert. None of these awareness are focusing into one specific things. Trying to abide into that kind of state. Non-occupied state of awareness. Your senses are not occupied. Your thoughts are not occupied, but still alert. Neither you're pushing your awareness to go to engage of any kind of specific subject, but kind of natural movement, but there's no motivation involved. Just kind of losing your awareness, state of a free and freedom, alert, but not chasing any specific object or goal. Basically trying to distance your awareness to engaging into the objects and the thoughts, but at the same time keeping alert. But it is not status. Within that stillness and silence, there is a thoughts, eruptions, and moving. However, trying to non-reacting. Once you feel starting to losing the alertness, then gradually bringing your attention to your breath. Now your mind has something to do. Pay attention to your breath. Just for a little while. Sensation of the, bringing your attention to the sensation of your breath. While you're bringing your attention to a sensation of your breath, the process of your breathing have to keep as natural as possible. The minute you bringing your attention, you're not building up attention to the breathing. Make sure it's natural. And through this, bringing your attention to the sensation of your breath. Then gradually, if you can move to the just abiding into the awareness of the breath, let going your attention to the sensation of your breath, and just bringing your attention to the awareness of your breath only. And then gradually even let going that and just abiding your state of awareness, alert, non-engaging. Non-reacting, state of freedom. You see the movements of your thoughts, but non-reacting, non-engaging. At the same time, not losing the alertness of your awareness. Once you feel the losing the alertness of your mind and falling into the mental sinking, then again bring back your attention to your breath and gradually move to the sensation of your breath. Then gradually move to the awareness of your breath. if there's a lot of thoughts kind of judging your own practice at this moment, non-reacting for those thoughts and non-engaging into these thoughts will be fundamental practice. Keep moving forward. Trying to synchronize your sense awareness and the mental awareness. Full awareness is fully alert, non-reacting, non-engaging. And gradually it develops the spaciousness, openness. Then through this spaciousness and openness, then gradually bringing your attention to your meditation posture, to your physical body, as we went like before, from the lower part of your body, and then come up to your postures of your head and your spine and your shoulder. And just exploring the silence of your mind and your body. And then you can relax back. So this finished the first step. Last time I trying to find this, I lost, so I found now. So this first part is essentially non-reacting, non-engaging, and outcome, inner silence. Through silence, inner spaciousness. Basically, mind kind of expand. So that's you can do every day whenever you feel a little bit more anxiety or much more kind of thing, that kind of exercise. And the posture is important, keep something balanced. When your body is so relaxed and there's a little bit tinginess of energeticness is not there, then it's also not good. So posture is really good. So you can do this kind of, the first part is just in 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 2 minutes, just creating that energy and creating that inner silence, spaciousness, non-reacting, non-engaging. So that kind of things, fundamentally, this is the perfect transition because our mind is so busy, and busy mind immediately you put into the virtue meditation. I think it doesn't work. So we have to have really good transition, and good transition is creating almost like a purification. You non-engage, non-reacting is some way to purifying your thoughts and awareness, and that creates that kind of like a good foundation. Okay. And you can create your own kind of whatever method. Where we want to go is same place, non-reactive, non-engaging, freedom state of mind. The mind have that kind of space. So that feeling is very important, okay, kind of like that. First step is kind of transitional meditation, or transitioning from very reactive mind to non-reactive mind. Very active and engaging mind to the non-engaging mind, but yet keeping alert. And then creating that balance, sense awareness and mental awareness, creating that balance. And so that's kind of like how you kind of prepare the mind for Lamrim meditation, you know. And you can also keep this one also preparing mind to anything, you know. Our life have to run by mind. So mind need this space, mind need these kind of step back and look more deeper and more clarity developing. Okay, so this is you know, sometimes we feel like I usually don't encourage going immediately breathing meditation, because you have another toy, you know, there's some toy, then you give one another toy. So taking out of any kind of toy for mind, I think is a long-term better, but then slowly kind of introducing, you know, so ultimately non-depending. So mind can have some kind of independent. So that's so not immediately. Sometimes, you know, okay, you sit down, meditation posture, and then you pay attention to your breath. This looks like kind of like a on the spot, maybe looks like a quick, but I think may not necessarily long-term good. So having that mind to creating that non-engaging, bringing that, and then slowly bringing the breath into, you know. So that's where I usually encourage. But you know, sometimes when we're really kind of mind is very active and not at all, it's trying to settling down, then we need to give a little bit toy the breath, pay attention for the breath. Okay, that's it. Not more than that. And then mind can have that attention, and then again you have to let go that object and come back to independence of the mind, not depending into the object, but able to observe the object, not getting proactive with the object and the thoughts, just having observing and independence. So that will be like really good healing or transition. Okay. So that's the first thing. So once you've done this kind of like a process many times, and then you can kind of create, you can get into that state a little bit more quicker. But even when you're very reactive state of the mind, intentionally getting into this kind of a non-reactive and non-engaged can be good. Okay. Now the next step. So we are kind of assuming now mind is much more calmer. Now mind is really flexible. Now mind is we can shape. Now we need to shape. You know, before, if you're trying to shape mind will rebel. You know, so now after this first session, when you finish, now we can have we are hoping we have some access to reshaping and working with the mind. Okay. So now over here, again, let's go back to the silent meditation posture, and just trying to keep that balance and just kind of like a revisit non-reactive, non-engaging, alert state of awareness. Then through the state of this still awareness, then showed rejoicing this opportunity to practice the Buddha Dharma, in meeting Buddha Dharma, and taking refuge to Buddha Dharma. And based on this one, not only just rejoicing for this precious opportunity, but I also trying to reflect. You want to make life meaningful. Our awareness wants to go beyond the material. And based on my own karma, to able to meet and engage the Buddha Dharma, and based on this inspiration, taking a refuge. This sense of surrendering, ego aggression minimizing, based on this state of joy and sense of feeling of fortunate, then also based on my own faith, my own pure state of mind. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, not just I'm imagining, they are there spontaneously and simultaneously because of the state of a pure state of mind. And in this moment, front of your space, Buddha, surrounded by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And this merit field is a witnessing of your own practice, encouraging your own practice, blessings for your own practice. So trying to feel that fields of the merit presence in front of you. and trying to creating faith and devotion. And based on a faith and devotion, then you can visualize blessings and nectars and light touching yourself, your body, speech, and mind. And imagine receiving the blessings and purifying and strengthening. Based on the faith and devotion, this visualization becomes actual. It's almost like a Reiki practice. You have that kind of trust and a concentration based on a faith and a devotion and receiving blessing and purifying. Sometimes these visualizations, when we do some physically kind of respond, some kind of goosebumps and so on and so forth, but not get distracted, just continue, rejoice in blessings. Then based on this kind of interactive with the merit field, then you make a strong your inspiration that I want to go through the meditation of a medium scope. And may I be blessed to this meditation. And really cultivate the inspiration. I want to meditate into this medium scope, which is a foundation for great scope for Bodhisattva and the path. Based on this kind of beseech, this kind of like a request, again, you can make a imagination and a visualization, nectar and blessing. And strengthening your inspirations. And then before go to kind of analytical meditation, at this moment, again, some kind of non-reactive after receiving the blessing from the merit field with the light and nectar. And I think it's important to stay in your mind, state of a same like before, non-reactive, non-engaging, non-analyzing, just kind of like an inner silent. And then gradually awakening from that stillness in inner silence, then you come to the analytical and review reflections. So here the I, which is a kind of caught into the samsara. If I not eliminate root of samsara, then even I have some kind of positive karma and a rebirth into even a human. It just kind of becomes temporary. So in this moment, some kind of assessment, what really I want, not just kind of overcoming the symptoms of a samsara, but really able to overcome the root of the samsara. So that will be the main purpose and main goal. Otherwise, I will continue suffering. Chain reaction will continue, and that may become cause of suffering for another living being also. So here, how I can stop the chain reaction of the suffering, this life and future life. Chain reactions of anger, chain reactions of attachment, chain reaction of ego, chain reaction of doubt, chain reactions of ignorance. So the only solution is cutting the root. That's very obvious. And over here, cultivate inspiration. Even for one day, how I can cut the chain reaction. So based on this kind of like a willingness and inspiration. And then again, same like it before. Imagine and visualize the nectar and blessings from the merit field. Almost their blessings and their support for strengthening that inspiration. And over here, the inspiration is to stopping the chain reaction and to cutting from the root. You don't have to have a clear that you can do it, but almost a stage of a mind, if there's, I can cut the root of the suffering. Why not? Why not? So may I be blessed. May I be supported by the merit field to be able to fulfill this wish, this spiritual journey to uprooting the root of my own cyclic existence, samsara. So you need to create and express and creating this enthusiasm related with the merit field based on receiving blessings. Then another review. You know, everything's of nature but impermanent. Whatever I accumulate, material things, at the end they're going to exhaust it. Whoever I meet at the end need to separate. Whatever achievement I achieve, at the end I need to retire from that. I cannot stay there forever. And fundamentally, coming to this world, also we need to leap from this world. So this kind of a reality, kind of observe. But we're trying to controlling all these 4 points. Whatever we accumulate, we're trying to control. Whatever achievement, what we gain, we're trying to control. Whatever we meet, and we're trying to control. And we're trying to also control our birth and mortality. So based on this kind of a review and acknowledgement, in this moment, cultivate inspiration. Some level of detachment. Detaching from the control attitude. And trying to abide into see as a nature of a shifting and impermanent. And this way of observing the life, may I able to keep mindfulness and awareness. And may I be blessed by the merit field to strengthening the way I see the life from the four those reality. Then even going more deeper, my life is influenced by karma and afflictions. It is run by karma and affliction. Is produced by karma and afflictions. So there's nothing to be surprised, nothing to be controlled. Expecting some kind of peace and nirvana is an illusion in a reality where we are right now. So fundamentally, this karmic existence run by karma and afflictions, my existence, need to be transformed. in the Lamrim language called renouncing from the all-pervasive suffering. At the end, I need to get the bottom of the samsara, which is acknowledgement and awareness of all pervasive suffering. Suffering of change is a multi-dimension. I can feel it, I can see it, I can react, I got engaged. But the foundation of a suffering of change is all pervasive suffering. So here, renunciation from the all pervasive suffering. Not blaming for the suffering of change, not blaming for the suffering of suffering. Now the bottom of the samsara is the all pervasive suffering, and that need to be transformed. So at this moment, keeping this strong inspiration, kind of like a focus, this is what I need to do to get liberation, to be able to realize emptiness. I need to see not only the pain of suffering and suffering of change, but the mastermind, which is the all-pervasive suffering that exists within the myself. And I need to transform my 5 aggregate, not pervades by the all-pervasive suffering. They need to be transformed. So here, our headache, not blaming for the drinking of a coffee, but in generally staying healthy state of a mind, healthy body. So it fundamentally comes down to, if I don't stay general well-being, this small kind of adjustment not necessarily can be the answer. So in this case, adjustment of the suffering of change and suffering of suffering not necessarily solve the issue. So here, kind of like a all pervasive suffering, fundamentally is trying to stay healthy over my mind, my body, and my speech. And even within that, fundamentally staying very healthy state of mind. So in this moment, cultivating this awareness, based on this awareness, generating inspiration. And based on this inspiration, then visualizing nectar and blessings from the merit field, strengthening this inspiration and removing all obstacles. Then gradually, through this kind of like a sense of feeling of support and blessing of the married field, then gradually move to what really makes my mind unhealthy, by the grasping of self, by distractions, by undisciplined of a body, speech, and mind. Create the distractions. And through that distraction, it nurtures the graspings of a truly existence of a self and another. So here, may I able to create the inner discipline, mindfulness over my body, speech, and mind, which is the foundation for creating the concentration which is a foundation for wisdom to understand the true nature of myself. Wrong view of a true nature of myself, which really creates the unhealthy state of a mind. So here the only option is to see the true nature of myself. For the method, I need strength of a concentration. For that, foundation of the discipline. So may I be able to practice 3 higher training into the ethic discipline, training into the concentration, and the training into the wisdom. So this review and reflections, unhealthy mind arise from indiscipline, distract, wrong view. And may I able to create redirect and discipline and the concentration and ultimately able to realize true nature of myself. So this review will be, you need to kind of go back and forth and then create this inspiration, believing it in oneself. And that's the only options. That's the only to away from cyclic existence. This is the only way to create the freedom of the mind for once or forever. Nirvana, the liberation. And once you have that kind of a form conclusion, then here invite the blessings of the married field, restoring your inspiration, re-strengthening your inspiration, and removing all the obstacles, that kind of visualization and imagination. Then once again, also you can kind of let go all these inspiration in observing and reviewing and analyzing, and just come back to after the nectar and blessing you receive from the merit field. And then you're kind of trying to be in state of a kind of inner silent, non-engaging, non-reacting, not engaging into the inspirational thoughts, not reacting into the samsaric awareness, not excitement for liberation, just back to state of inner silence. And then you can dissolve the merit field, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas into you. Once you're doing this time, you're not necessarily cultivating joy or anything, just kind of feeling of dissolving of this kind of like duality and separation, enlightenment and sentient being. There is no hierarchy, the merit field and yourself. All of one nature, one taste. And based on this kind of observation, dropping all the discouragement. I'm in here and enlightened beings are there up in some way, much more higher state, that kind of conventional perception trying to dissolve. And ultimately, samsara and nirvana is a one nature. Enlightenment and sentient beings are in one nature. And acknowledging the difference of a conventional, this 20%, what really makes sentient beings and enlightenment. This 20%, what really makes the difference between samsara and the nirvana. The majority, the 80%, is a one nature, one substance. And then based on a feeling of oneness, then again going back to this state of a non-reactive and non-engaging, just abiding into the inner silent. Then through the state of a non-reactiveness, then bringing your attention to your meditation posture as like a before. How we start, we are going to conclusion also going back to the same place. Okay, so the benefit of a meditation of a medium scope in our daily life, because we face lots of problem and we get narrow view, and we get so kind of anxiety and claustrophobic, kind of like becomes, there's no space and nothing to do. There's like the mind get really narrow. Okay, so if you do daily base, this kind of like seeing the three type of suffering and how it kind of coming this process. So when we face problem, I think you have not this kind of very tight feeling. It's just kind of like because you are karmically educated and reality-wise you're observing. So it's not so much about this kind of exercise, reflection and reviewing and reflection can really minimize our reaction of anger. And when things get really not working well, we get this kind of very tense and fear. That kind of anxiety also can be dropped. Just basically doing this kind of opening up this kind of awareness, there will be more accepting, less reactiveness. So I will say Lamrim meditation is I think is a very necessary need for life, for psychic, for human, because the world is very demanding and so so we are living in a world of insurance. When there is a fear, there's every time there's insurance. So I think the reliable company insurance, the Lamrim, I think is a quite reliable psychic insurance, or whatever you're going to call it. So anyway, I'll say this kind of like just, it don't need to be elaborated, and just kind of trying to see my existence from bigger picture. And definitely anxiety can be dropped. It opens more space to how to solve the problem. It doesn't really escalate. Usually once we don't have the bigger understanding of our existence and our inspiration is not there, then when we face karmic challenge and we don't have a space, then anxiety, pervasiveness. So I'll say Lamrim meditation is when we're doing with this kind of little merit field, I think it's a really karmically makes a much more grounded and a strong, like more healthier, so obviously there's lots of freedom, you can read Lamrim, and basically it is a mirror for what we are going through. So basically, communicate with the merit field, express, cultivate inspiration. And I think if we do this daily basis, small scope review meditation, medium scope review meditation, I think definitely ultimate counseling with therapy. This is both for improving the concentration and mindfulness and reducing anxiety. So the Lamrim can be the ultimate therapy. I don't know, therapy, healing. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. I won't take too much time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you.
Rinpoche, do you want to go?
Rinpoche.
Do you want to go right into dedication, or we have time for maybe one question?
Sure, one question would be good.
Okay. Yeah, the question is, I want to incorporate these meditations into my daily practice. I would like to do that into my daily practice. If I concentrate, and I know that I should concentrate on one topic for a while. So the question is, how do I choose which topic and for how long should that topic be preserved?
Okay, that's a good question.
Dice Rinpoche que es una muy buena pregunta.
I think the question comes how I choose the topic.
Correcto. ¿Cómo escojo el tema?
And the way you choose your topic is what's going on within yourself. We need to look at that very carefully.
Hay que mirar esto muy cuidadosamente, ¿no?
Like, for example,
Por ejemplo,
if you feel no inspiration, you feel like hopeless.
si no sientes inspiración, si te sientes desesperanzado,
if you're feeling that, then the medicine
si estás sintiendo eso, entonces,
from the Lamrim,
desde el punto de vista del Lamrim,
you need to connect with yourself positive. So meditation in precious human rebirth.
necesitas conectar entonces con tu preciado renacimiento humano.
So this topic need to be corresponding what's going on with you, like
Porque
what
el
you
tema
feel.
tiene que corresponder con lo que está pasando contigo.
Okay, so that's one thing. But now you doesn't feel like low energy and you feel like a good, but you feel energetic. But
Pero
then
si te sientes con energía,
but then you get so distracted.
pero entonces te distraes fácilmente, ¿no?
Like time just kind of killing the time and wasting the time.
Y estás buscando cómo matar el tiempo.
But you're noticing, but then you really want to do something for this, changing this habit.
Pero sabes que quieres cambiar este hábito.
Then you have to meditate from Lamrim, the
Entonces,
impermanent and the precious human rebirth together.
meditas en la impermanencia y el preciado renacimiento humano, ambos juntos.
Then make sure it, I have this challenge, so I'll go from Lamrim, I'll look in the Lamrim, read that section, reflect that section, and meditate in that section.
Okay, así que una vez reconoces esa situación, vas al Lamrim, identificas el texto, lees esa parte del texto, reflexionas sobre la misma, entonces procedes con tu meditación analítica.
Now, in a life, if you feel very strong anxiety and a doubt and fear,
Y si en tu vida hay mucha ansiedad, temor y dudas,
and then from Lamrim, you do the refuge practice.
entonces desde el punto de vista del Lamrim vas a la práctica de refugio.
Yes. So when you're reading, when you're feeling this fear, and when you're trying to read Lamrim from the refuge section, sometimes you may react.
Cuando lees
But-
esto en el Lamrim, te van a dar deseos de reaccionar.
But tell yourself, read and then reflect, and then doing this kind of like a meditation and visualization.
Así que primero lee, analizas y entonces haces la meditación utilizando las visualizaciones que él nos ha estado recomendando.
Mm. So once you don't have all this, maybe you need to do whole Lamrim meditation.
Y a lo mejor tienes que hacer todas las meditaciones del Lamrim, ¿no?
There's all these challenges there. But time to time, when they are kind of like a little bit low, they fluctuate, as basically whatever fluctuates, whatever goes up. So, you kind of like a counter response from this, kind of balancing. So once they all kind of you feel energized, you feel like you want to make a life more meaningful, you have a certain level of faith and devotion, then I think you feel like going to to see much more the next level of seeing, the bigger picture, the suffering of change and all previous. Then you are more kind of open to dealing with these things.
Okay, así que una vez empiezas a experimentar un poco de quietud y un poco de balance, entonces puedes profundizar en otras áreas, ¿no? Como ir posiblemente al sufrimiento del cambio.
So basically, the attitude of a mind is much more deeper. Attitude of mind for yourself is much more deeper. Your vision of yourself is much more deeper. You're looking for your challenge in much more deeper level. So it's just like a way you see yourself in much more deeper. In medium scope, basically you see in much different level.
Okay, medium scope, la capacidad media te da la oportunidad de ver tu realidad con mucha más profundidad, un poco más de profundidad.
However, you can bring the awareness that described in medium scope is a very, very much relevant. Even we are not practicing medium scope, even a small scope, I think integration, like for example, like nature of a suffering, all pervasive suffering is kind of like a for example, anxiety and doubt. There's a specific emotion, but you can come down to all pervasive suffering at the end, what I'm expect, like there's no fight with it. The what you call the fear for the fear itself is much more fearful. It's same like you have that kind of, when you look into the all pervasive suffering, you drop the fear for the fear. You will drop for the anxiety for the anxiety.
Okay, dice Rinpoche que también si estás haciendo, digamos, meditaciones en la capacidad menor, puedes traer elementos de esta meditación que hicimos esta noche, elementos de la meditación en la capacidad media, lo puedes traer a tu meditación en la capacidad menor, porque de esta manera reduces también mucha de la ansiedad y mucho del temor. En ocasiones es el temor al miedo, en ocasiones es la ansiedad que produce la misma ansiedad. Así que trayendo este concepto del sufrimiento todo permeante a tu meditación, aun si es meditación en la capacidad menor, puede ser de mucho beneficio.
So you need to see what is the relation me and the Lamrim practice. So you see like small scope is mostly dealing with the reactions, and the medium scope is dealing with the root of reactions. So me as a person, I have plenty reactions, and to reduce, not to escalate our reaction, the small scope practice precious human rebirth, impermanent refuge. They're really kind of like almost like an ibuprofen. You take it, but at the end you have to really, you want to stop headache, you need to do exercise, or we need to eat healthy or something we have to do. We cannot all the time, depending for the ibuprofen, so need to come to the medium scope. You have to work for fundamental level. So I think it's a very important. Lamrim is something very divine. Yeah, it is a divine once you integrate it with the merit field. It becomes the mystical once we integrate with the merit field. Otherwise, it is a mirror for our life. It's showing that what's happening, and pretty much, just to kind of like a reminder, and.
Ya dice Rinpoche que el Lamrim se convierte en algo divino, algo místico, ¿no? Algo maravilloso cuando precisamente lo integramos al campo de méritos. Dice que la capacidad menor realmente trata sobre reacciones versus la capacidad media, que es las causas de esas reacciones. Y dice que necesitamos integrarlas, porque no vamos a estar toda la vida tomando Tylenol, ¿no? Algún tipo de ibuprofeno para calmar nuestros dolores y nuestras molestias. Algo tenemos que hacer. Y ese algo lo encontramos en la capacidad media, cuando nos da explicación de las causas. Pero dice Rinpoche que para que el Lamrim realmente tenga el valor de reflejarnos todo cuán valioso es, necesitamos hacerlo en conexión con el campo de méritos. That's wonderful.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Wonderful.
That was really wonderful, Rinpoche.
Thanks, Rinpoche. Blessings.
All right,
buenas
so
noches.
let's dedicate, Rinpoche.
Thank
Don't
you
go.
so much. Thank you so much, Rinpoche.
Rinpoche, we need your help with the
Okay.
chanting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lama Sangye Ji Sala Gubarjo Changju Semju Rinpoche Magye Banamage Gyunjin Geba Nyamba Meba Yang Kone Kongdu Bewayu Donye Dawa Rinpoche Magye Banamage Gyunjin Geba Nyamba Meba Yang Kone Kongdu Bewayu Jambe Pawu Chedara Kemba Dang Gundu Sambu Leyang Tejinde Teda Gungi Jesu Daluji Gewa Dida Tamje Rabdo Duzum Shek Pe Gyawa Tamje Ke Ngowa Gang La Chodu Dagi Gewe Zawa Di Gun Gyang Sangbo Juje Rabdu Ngowa. Okay.
Dedicamos por la larga vida de nuestros maestros, empezando por el Dalai Lama. En la tierra rodeada por montañas de nieve, eres la fuente de toda felicidad y bondad. Todopoderoso Shenrei Sin Gyatso, por favor permanece hasta el final del samsara y por la larga vida de nuestro maestro Yangsi Rinpoche. Madre Tare, liberando del samsara. Tú Tare, liberando de los 8 temores. Tara, madre que libera, por favor otorga el don de la longevidad. Por las bendiciones de los gurús raíz y del linaje, por los logros espirituales de los Yidam, dioses y diosas, por los métodos hábiles de las Dakiris y los protectores del Dharma, que podamos realizar gozosamente la esencia de nuestras esperanzas. Gendun Tenzin, eres afable, benevolente y bondadoso. Por favor, permanece con nosotros durante una larga vida. Expande tus actividades iluminadas en todas las direcciones y continúa madurando y sustentándonos a mí y a todos los seres sintientes. Desde este momento, durante todas nuestras vidas, manténnos bajo tu tutela. Sé nuestro amigo, nuestro divino y virtuoso guía. Limpia la degeneración de la ignorancia. Ayúdanos a realizar rápidamente nuestro recorrido por los senderos y caminos y alcanzar los 3 cuerpos de un Buda. Por la verdad de la realidad incambiable y por la bendición conjunta del indestructible Sangha, que la esencia de estas oraciones se logre rápidamente.
Thank you very much.
You need to unmute, Rinpoche. You mute. There you go.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you so much. Please
Gracias.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
take care of yourself. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
Gracias por
Thank you.
todo.
Next week.
Next week. See you next week.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Thank
With
you.
my heart.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, Rinpoche.
Great teaching.
Oh.
Fue.
Ay, Alberto, qué bello.
Qué lindo todo. Hermoso.
¡Qué maravilla!
Wow.
Gracias,
Yo
gracias.
tengo los pelos parados, te lo juro.
Esa respuesta, Alberto.
¿Viste?
Wow.
¿Viste?
De hecho,
Eso nada más.
Eso,
Wow.
wow.
Bueno, buenas noches a todos y gracias, Alberto, por esta oportunidad.
Sí,
Todo
gracias a
buenas
todos, de
noches.
verdad.
Bye bye.
Gracias por
Respira, baby.
Gracias, Alberto.
buenas noches,
Gracias,
gracias,
Hasta
Alberto.
mañana,
Chao.
Alberto.